Your George W. Bush, 30% of his ambassadors, of his appointments were political, and Obama's running the same rate, 31%. So, you know, we pick on President Obama. President Bush did the same thing. But isn't this where we're supposed to be?
Virtually every president since the 1960s has maintained a ratio of about 70% of the ambassadors being career foreign service officers and about 30% being political appointees. There are some nations in the world that really do want to have the president's best friend as an ambassador.
But
Japan is a country that jumps right out near the top. In fact, the Holy See, the Vatican, every ambassador that has served in the Vatican has been a political appointee.
Look, respectfully, there's also been a change in the Foreign Service Officers Corps, because we didn't have the problem with tenure that we have now. Right now, the kind of people who go into the Foreign Service have many other attractive opportunities. And seeing to it that they have a path forward to get those most desirable jobs is more important now than it would have been 20 years ago, when people tended to have very long tenures in the Foreign Service. Think about it this way. When you join the Foreign Service, you gain valuable language skills and much else. That is a lot more valuable now to global multinational companies, and that's why those guys are getting drawn away into the private sector. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing for the world, but it is something that is actually causing headaches for the State Department. Lack of retention of this personnel. And when you see time and again those most desirable jobs going to donors, not all of whom, by the way, are close personal friends of the president, there does appear to be increasingly what looks like a pay-for-play aspect here. I think that's going to be really disappointing.
Andy, what about this pay-for-play?
Don't throw those words out. There's no indication that this is pay-for-play. And quite frankly, the president is the chief foreign diplomat for the country. He speaks for the United States.
But if I give $1 million and I get France, how is that not pay-for-play?
Well, first of all, it's illegal for anyone to pay to get a job in the government. And I can't imagine the president would allow any of his staff to
I apologize. I shouldn't have used
the
term pay for play. That's a fair point. What I'm suggesting is that you said that if the person is a close personal friend, what if the person is an impecunious close personal friend who didn't donate a dime? That happens, and I can see why that might be valuable in a unique situation.
Well,
but the thing is,
let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
Absolutely.
Well, let me give you an example. When the wall came down in Germany and the Soviet Union started to collapse, President Bush went to a friend who happened to be one of the most prominent Democrats in the country, Bob Strauss, and asked him to become ambassador to Russia. And he did a fabulous job, and that was a political appointee at a critical time, and it made a difference.
Kind of thing. And if you think that that's exactly what's happening here, then we might disagree. We might have a different perspective. I think that actually if President Obama nominated folks who weren't raising money for his campaign, but were people that he really admired and respected, someone from across the aisle, I think that that could be a very impressive gesture.
All right, I'm going to just
Are you telling me that people who contribute money and support a candidate are disqualified from opportunities to make a difference for this country?
What I'm saying is that the
I think there are a lot of qualified people, and they may. Well, the Foreign Service has changed. Every aspect of government is changing.
Absolutely.
But I can tell you, we at the Bush School, we are training diplomats at the Bush School at Texas A&M University. We're doing a great job of it. We've already got some SES career foreign service officers that came out of the Bush School, and we've got some that are already in the high levels of the GS system. We're doing a great job, and yes, they want to grow.
I want them to be able to go all the way to the top. Thank you very much for doing that.
And they can, and they will, and they have been. There have been career people appointed to Germany and England and France. It does happen.
All right. Thanks to